Dogs give us their loyalty without asking for anything in return, but often without even noticing. We slowly hurt the very bond they value most. Not because we mean to, but because some of the things we do seem harmless to us, while for them they create stress, fear, or frustration. The way we speak, the routines we set, even the little choices we make each day can shape how safe or insecure our dogs feel. That's why understanding these mistakes is so important. Because when we see the world through their eyes, we realize just how much our actions matter. What may feel small or insignificant to us can echo loudly in their world, leaving an invisible weight on their hearts. They are incredibly sensitive creatures, and the way we treat them day after day leaves invisible marks on their hearts. Each tone of voice, each moment of attention or neglect, every choice we make is recorded in the way they feel about us. One of the most damaging things we can do, often without realizing it, is to leave them alone for too long. Dogs are pack animals. Solitude doesn't mean rest, it often feels like abandonment. A dog left behind may howl endlessly, scratch at doors, or sink into silence that looks like calm but is really despair. That cry when you leave is not exaggeration, it's suffering, a sound born from confusion and longing. They don't know if you'll come back or when. Hours to them feel like a lifetime. If long absences are part of your routine, then toys, music, or even a dog daycare aren't luxuries, they're lifelines, ways of telling your dog, even when I'm gone, you're not forgotten. Just as time alone damages trust, so does ignoring their attempts to connect. When a dog nudges you with his nose, drops a toy at your feet, or whines softly, he isn't just demanding play, he's reaching out in the only language he knows. To him, these little gestures are bridges, moments where he tries to close the distance between you and him. Dismissing these invitations again and again plants the seed of frustration and insecurity, teaching him that his love is not welcome. Dogs don't need endless hours of attention, but they do need moments of real presence where they feel seen, heard, and cherished. 5 minutes of focused interaction, a game of fetch, a gentle belly rub, or simply looking into his eyes, can mean more to him than hours of being together without true connection. In those small but powerful exchanges, he feels what every dog longs to feel, that his place by your side is not just routine, but a bond built on love. And then there's the silent language we too often overlook, the warning signs. A growl, a turned head, or a retreat is not aggression, it's communication. These are polite requests for space, gentle reminders that your dog is trying to cope with a situation that feels uncomfortable. When ignored, he has no choice but to escalate, and that's when bites happen. What is often labeled as bad behavior is in reality the last resort of an animal who tried everything else to be understood. Tragically, many dogs are punished for what was actually a plea for respect, and that punishment only deepens the wound. Teaching children and visitors to recognize and honor these signals transforms tension into trust, showing the dog his boundaries are safe, that his voice matters, and that respect in the small things creates peace in the big ones. But emotional well-being isn't built on respect alone. It thrives on stability. Dogs experience the world through patterns, and when those patterns suddenly break, it can feel like chaos. A different walk schedule, a rushed morning, or an abrupt diet switch may seem trivial to us, but to him, it's unsettling and confusing. The result can be physical, diarrhea, refusal to eat, restless pacing, or emotional, clinging, whining, or shutting down. Dogs flourish when life feels predictable, when they know what to expect and when to expect it. That's why adjustments must be gradual. New food blended with the old, new routines introduced gently. Stability is the invisible anchor that allows them to relax, to exhale, to trust that tomorrow will look enough like today to feel safe. Of course, stability doesn't mean monotony. A dog's spirit withers in repetition without stimulation. Just as his body craves walks, his mind craves challenges. Without mental enrichment, energy has nowhere to go and turns inward, twisting into frustration. That's when you see the warning signs. Endless paw licking, spinning circles, or digging holes in the yard. These aren't quirks to laugh at, they're symptoms of boredom and unmet needs. Dogs are intelligent and curious, built to problem solve and explore. Puzzle toys, scent games, short training sessions, or even something as simple as a new walking route can turn routine into adventure. Every challenge you give his brain isn't just exercise, it's nourishment. A stimulated mind builds a balanced spirit, transforming restlessness into calm and uncertainty into joy. Walks, too, are more than bathroom breaks. They're windows into the world, filled with scents, sights, and sounds that bring joy and balance to a dog's spirit. Each walk is a journey of discovery, a way for your dog to read the invisible stories written on every tree, every blade of grass, every corner of the street. Denying enough walks doesn't just deprive him of exercise, it locks away his curiosity, leaving energy bottled up until it explodes in destructive ways. Chewed furniture, constant barking, or sudden anxiety at home are not signs of a bad dog. They are the cries of a spirit left unstimulated. Even the smallest breeds, often mistaken as content to stay indoors, crave the outside world. And if life prevents a long stroll, then active indoor play becomes not just an option, but a responsibility. Walks are not luxuries. They are the pulse of a dog's daily life, the rhythm that keeps body, mind, and heart aligned. Comfort at home is just as vital as adventure outside. Every dog deserves a retreat, a private corner that belongs entirely to him. During thunderstorms, fireworks, or the arrival of strangers, this space becomes a sanctuary where his trembling nerves can settle. It doesn't need to be elaborate. A crate lined with soft bedding, a quiet corner with toys and water is often enough. These aren't indulgences, they are necessities for emotional balance. But there's one unshakable rule. When your dog retreats to this space, you must respect it. Do not disturb him. Let that corner be sacred. By honoring his safe place, you tell him, "You're protected here." That reassurance ripples outward, turning not just the corner but the entire home into a place of security and peace. Neglect, even in its smallest forms, leaves scars that often go unnoticed until they grow. Overgrown nails turn every step into a wince of pain. Matted fur itches endlessly until it inflames the skin. Dirty ears open the door to infections, and unclean teeth quietly build toward serious health problems. A dog in discomfort doesn't complain with words, but you'll see it in his eyes, in his reluctance to play, in his irritability. Sometimes he withdraws, sometimes he lashes out. These aren't behavioral issues, they're signs of suffering. That's why regular brushing, gentle nail care, and consistent grooming aren't chores, they are silent promises. I care for you in every detail. And in those small acts of care, the bond between you deepens. Grooming isn't about vanity, it's about dignity, showing your dog that his comfort matters as much as his presence matters to you. And finally, we must talk about the harm of harshness, the kind of harm that cuts deeper than neglect. Physical punishment, hitting, pushing, using force, doesn't teach, it breaks. A dog doesn't connect the strike with the action you're angry about. He only learns to fear you. The result is trauma, avoidance, and sometimes aggression, born not from malice but from confusion. Picture the dog who no longer chews your shoes, but also no longer dares to approach you, his trust shattered. Yelling carries the same poison, only wrapped in sound. A raised voice doesn't command respect, it crushes confidence. Dogs don't speak our words, but they read our energy, our tone, the invisible waves we emit. Calm, clear commands teach, shouts destroy. And in the long run, harshness never builds obedience, it builds distance. To truly teach, to truly love, is to guide with patience, with respect, with consistency. That's how a house transforms from walls and rooms into something far greater, a home where a dog doesn't just live but belongs.